Both features hold a lot of expression, and so by making them the focal point of the face, that is what the viewer will instantly see. The biggest alteration I made to the body and face were the shape of the shoulders, which I gave a swirl design, consistent with how I tend to draw trees using swirl patterns in the bark. And of course the temples are far more prominent than they would be on a human face. I also gave them excessively thin waists to help pronounce the hips, but decided to leave their chest area with as little definition as possible. These decisions I made was to reflect the shape of a tree in their body shape. Not exactly easy to interpret since trees are so different from one another, but the main thing they do have in common is that their foot, where the roots go into the ground, is usually wider than the rest of the bark that goes upwards. The other area we can have a lot of fun with is the hair. Because it can take any shape, I decided to make that the most prominent fantasy feature about them. I sketched them out in a way where the hair strands act like thin tree branches, twirling their way around the face, shoulders, arms, and body, strategically hiding the intimate areas at the same time. When the shape of the hair is giving you a hard time, it can be quite handy to draw it on a profile rather than a portrait, to understand how it is settled on the back of the head and along the neckline. It'll help give you a better idea and allow you to adjust the hair the way you want it to appear in the portrait with help from the profile. At this point, I'm not entirely sure about the coloring of these female characters yet. I'm hoping to give them some green and brown tints so they can camouflage into the trees, but that could also create the issue of having them fading away into the background. So if the green tints I have in mind happen to disturb the background's coloring, I am instead creating textures on their skin that can represent leaves and tree textures, which can then act as camouflage whilst the rest of the skin is still fairly visible. In the next lesson, I will be introducing Poser, and we will take a closer look at what tools we will be using to create our reference. Thank you for listening. Hi, and welcome to Mastering Fantasy Design in Poser and Illustrator. My name is Nast Peters, and in this video I will be introducing you to Poser and the tools we will be using to create our reference.